Welcome to Hope Channel International. If you've ever wondered why you're going through such hard times right now, even though you're being faithful to God, this video is for you.
But the Church of Smyrna is the next period of history. What period of history comes after this early apostolic church?
2nd and 3rd century, and this is a period of persecution. The church was crushed. The church was...
Now, crushed is an interesting word because the word Smyrna kind of has the word crushed buried in it, doesn't it?
That's correct.
Right?
Share about that.
Well, it's got, myrrh was one of the gifts the wise men brought to Jesus, but that's a spice that you get from crushing the plant. And in the word Smyrna, we have the word myrrh. The sweet smell comes after the crushing. So there's the idea of persecution is right in the name. I think God picked that city on purpose for this.
I learned something. Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Psalm 22. Actually, it says, it's a prophecy of Jesus' crucifixion. It says, I am a worm. I'm thinking, Jesus is a worm? But the original language says crimson grub. That's a dye that they got by crushing that bug. And Jesus was crushed for us. This church goes through a similar experience. The Romans hate them, right? Romans hate Christians. Why do they hate the Christians so much, man?
Well, first of all, they didn't bow down to their idols, and the ultimate God was Caesar. And they didn't want to worship Caesar. They worshiped the Lord. And so, Rome ruled with an iron fist. And when they didn't worship Caesar, didn't want to bow down, they thought they were insurrectionists because of that.
So they faced horrific persecution. I mean, this is the stuff we read about in school. Nero lighting people on fire to light the stadium, tossed to the animals, dressed in skins. Interesting, Polycarp, one of the early church fathers known for being burned at the stake, was the pastor in the city of Smyrna.
I think I did read that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting that's his town? What are some of the characteristics? What does Jesus say about this period of history, this church, these people? What are some of the lessons for us?
Well, first of all, he does not have a correction for this church.
Interesting. Everyone else gets a little rebuke, right?
That's correct. And Jesus commends this church. He says, I know your works, verse 9, tribulation and poverty, but you are rich.
Now, how can you be rich when you're being persecuted? Come on, man.
Oh, that's heavy. Martin Luther King Jr. said something that was very interesting. He says that suffering is redemptive. And boy, I don't know that when I'm suffering, I feel like this is a process of redemption.
Well, but what does it do for me? I mean, persecution helps me how? And we're up against another break. It's probably a bad moment to ask it, but in a sentence or two, how does it help me?
What is it? 2 Timothy 3:12 says, all who live godly will suffer persecution. I think that it is not until we really get to the basics and lose things or experience hardship that we fully trust that which we cannot control.
Right, right.
Because
I guess you've got nothing left but to cling to Jesus.
That's it.